Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 13th, 2010 meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency. Mr. Kasakian, could you call the roll, please?
Agency members: Friedman.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Draymond.
Here. And could we hear your report, please?
The agenda for the April 13th, 2010 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Thursday, April 8th, 2010 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Kasakian. And at this point, let me turn it, I guess, to you, correct?
Yes, item 3C is the selection of the new chair and vice chair.
And Mr. Kasakian, I'd like to make a nomination, if I may.
Well, let me, prior to that, let me just announce publicly that this is the time provided for the selection of one of the redevelopment agency members to be chair for the following year. And now we can declare nominations for chair open. Are there any nominations?
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to nominate agency member Laura Friedman for agency chair. Ms. Friedman has been vice chair of the agency since coming to the City Council and joining this agency, and she's done a terrific job and has attended all of the briefings and has been a part of all of the work in the last year. And anybody who has served with her, either on the council or the housing authority or the redevelopment agency, knows that she is as active and involved as any council member could ever possibly be, more so, frankly. So I nominate Laura for that position and hope that the city can keep up with reimbursing her for all the shoe leather she's wearing out.
Any other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate myself, and I'll explain why. This is my 14th year on the City Council. I've waited 5 years to be on the redevelopment agency again. I think it's only proper that the positions be rotated occasionally so that other agency members do have a chance. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring again. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we can now do this in a way where we can go through each of you and you can say who you prefer, or we can take the first nomination that was placed, vote on that, and then vote. And if it doesn't pass, we vote on the second. There isn't consensus. Is there any preference? Okay.
Care.
I have a preference, but I'd like to express...
Then the nomination that you'll be voting on before you is a nomination of agency member Friedman to be chair of this body. Agency member Draymond.
Yes.
Agency member Friedman.
Yes.
Agency member Najarian.
Yes.
Agency member Quintero.
Yes.
Agency member Weaver.
No.
Okay. I now declare agency member Friedman the duly elected chair of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency of the City of Glendale. The business before the Glendale Redevelopment Agency now is the selection of a new vice chair. The chair may now entertain nominations for that office.
Mr. Clerk?
Sure.
I would like to place the name of Mr. John Draymond as to the position of Vice Chair of the Redevelopment Agency.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, we will take a vote on the nomination of Agency Member Draymond to be the Vice Chair. Agency Member Draymond.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Quintero.
Yes.
Agency Member Weaver.
No.
Okay, and that will make Agency Member Draymond the duly appointed Vice Chair of this body.
Okay. What's next, please?
Approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a roll call.
Agency Members Draymond.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Quintero.
Yes.
Weaver.
Aye.
Next item is oral communications, and I don't believe any cards were submitted.
Okay, thank you. And what's next?
Next on the agenda is, on the business agenda, 6A, Director of Community Redevelopment and Housing regarding professional services agreement, change orders in connection with various projects. At 6A1 is a motion approving the following change orders in amount not to exceed $200,000. EP Associates Town Center, ARC East Brand Connection Central Glendale Project Area, $30,000. Kaiser Marston Associates, Inc., City Center 2, The Exchange, $15,000. Stradling, Yoka, Carlson, and Routh at Central Glendale San Fernando Road Corridor, $40,000. Loose Forward, Hamilton, and Scripps LLP, San Fernando Road Corridor, $5,000. Overland Pacific and Cutler Support Services for various land acquisitions, $70,000. Trinity Facility Services, Inc., Town Center, ARC East, Brand Connection, Orange Street Garage, Central Glendale, $40,000.
Mr. Lansopane, or do I have a motion?
I'll move 6A1.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Roll call. Agency members Draymond,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Agency Chair Friedman.
Yes. What's next, please?
Next is a public hearing on 6B, Director of Community Redevelopment and Housing regarding parking exception for 23 spaces for property located at 325 North Brand Boulevard. At B1 is a motion approving parking exception based on findings and conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Lansopane.
Madam Chair, this is a hearing for a parking exception, and if you'd like to open the hearing, we'll be prepared to give you a report.
Yes, please.
Okay. This is a 23-space parking exception for property at 325 North Brand Boulevard. Gracie Barra America GBA is a jiu-jitsu instruction, retail, and clothing company. They are moving into this location. It's approximately 3,800 square feet. In 400 square feet, they propose to do some instruction. Our code requires that you take the most intense use and apply that over the entire 3,800 square feet, even though this is right around 10%. When you do that, it requires and take their credit for the prior use, it's a 23-space parking exception. Effectively, we believe that this is, if you were to look at the uses that will happen on the site, we believe that this is closer to 3 or 4 spaces that would be required. It's about 500 feet from the Orange Street parking garage, where we see plenty of parking. We've shown you in our report, we've looked at the garage at its peak in December of '09, where we had around 250 spaces. So we think that it can be, these spaces could be absorbed in the Orange Street garage. There are several checks to prevent this business from expanding their instruction into the entire space. The main one being our downtown specific plan requires the first 25 feet to be retail, which it will be under the proposal. With that, staff is here if you have any questions. We are recommending approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes.
What other checks are they when they, in terms of expanding the training facility? It talks about a mezzanine, so that is literally above the...
There's a mezzanine, correct, is where the instruction will take place. You have two things. These conditions that they only use it for that amount of space, the 400 to 700 square feet. The first 25 feet must be retail. If those are violated, we could have code enforcement come in and shut the business down.
Okay.
Any other questions?
This one last thing. This applies only to this use. If the use goes out, somebody would have to, this particular operator, somebody else would have to come in and reapply.
Okay. Thank you. I have no cards. Are there any comments?
I have a question. This is the old yoga space?
I think it's the rugs. Barry, Senior Project Manager.
The former use is a rug store.
Okay. So it's that large space with the bow, what's the ceiling? What do they call that type of ceiling?
Bow truss.
Bow truss ceiling?
I think the broker is actually here.
Next to the mini market.
You need to come up. You need to come up to the dais here.
And if you can state your name for the record.
My name is Steve Baker. I'm with Stevenson Real Estate Services. The building is right at the crosswalk. You almost walk through the crosswalk into the front door, and it's for the past 15 years has been Universal Rugs and Paintings. He sells rugs and paintings, basically. That's next to the Brand Mart. There's the Brand Mart right there. It's not the yoga studio. The yoga studio is about 5 stores north.
Okay.
Is that clear?
They used to have Betty Boop, a statue
Yes.
of Betty Boop,
Yes,
and a
that's
pirate
there.
and all that.
And he's sold furniture and things over the years. He's been struggling, so we've been looking for another tenant, and we're happy with this one. So.
Thank you. I'm going to close the public session. Are there any comments? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I will move the item, and then also say I'm very happy to have this company move in, and especially since you can walk directly from your workout over to the Brazilian steak place right down the street. You don't even have to cross the street, I don't think. But anyway, yeah, in fact, this gentleman's father is a famous master in jiu-jitsu, and everything about it sounds good, the retail and so forth. So it's exciting. I hope they do well.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yeah, just a comment. I'm trying to picture what we want on mid-brand entertainment related, whatever. We've had the Salvation Army down there. We have the Goodwill coming in. I just wonder if jiu-jitsu is the right place on brand. I'll vote for it, but I'm trying to picture where we're going. To fill space, just to fill space, doesn't seem the right way to go, but of course, the council has nothing to say about it, just like Goodwill. So, space is filled, brings in the money. Let's hope it all works out. But with that, I'll move 6B1.
There is actually a motion in a second.
Okay.
Did he make it?
Agency
Mr.
member
Draymond?
Quintero made it. Draymond.
Well, then I'll second it.
Before we go to roll call, I'll ask Mr. Draymond.
I just wanted to clarify. In principle, I also agree with Mr. Weaver, but I just wanted to remind, just for anybody listening, Mid-Brand is not our arts and entertainment district that we've been working on. That is the Maryland corridor.
Okay, and if there's no more comments, we'll take a roll call, please.
Agency members Draymond,
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Najarian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Chair Friedman.
Yes. What's next, please?
Are there any agency member or staff comments?
Mr. Draymond.
Yes. Chair Friedman, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the, during my term as chair of the agency, it precedes the reorganization and then after the reorganization, so I'm not sure exactly which title to use, the redevelopment, Glendale Redevelopment, the development services, or community housing redevelopment. In any case, I want to thank all of you for your guidance and assistance over the last term, as well as our friends in planning, Mr. Nagani and his department as well, because, as all of you know, all of these good people and talented people bring their professional disciplines to bear with the projects we have been working on and trying to develop. I've had a very unusual ride since coming to the council as agency vice chair, and finding myself through an accident of the chair deciding to resign, ending up becoming chair of the agency and that for a partial term, and then being elected by my colleagues to serve a full term as agency chair. The only reason why I did not object to my name being placed in nomination for, and the reason I want to serve as agency vice chair, is because of the many projects that are in the hopper, because of the good and creative work of our staff, our department heads, frankly, our then vice chair, now chair of the agency, and I want to help provide some of the whatever you want to call it, institutional memory or history on what we have been working on in the last year and a half, while the economy has been wobbly and the agency's focus has sort of shifted from developing buildings to developing our local economy in a different way. And so just before anybody goes wild or speculating or upset with the fact that I do not take any umbrage at all at Mr. Weaver's vote. He has an absolute, not just a right, but a point that he makes. He's been serving this city for many years and should rightly have an opportunity to serve on the redevelopment agency in a chair or vice chair capacity, and I assume that soon that will happen. Thank you.
Mr. Najarian.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate you, Madam Chair, and you, Mr. Vice Chair. I know you'll be continuing your efforts that you've started, Mr. Draymond, several years ago when you first came on, as you relate, and you, Ms. Friedman, as you started last year. But I would like to direct my comments to Mr. Weaver, and I'd like him to know that the fact that he is not running the meeting as a chair in no way limits and diminishes my anticipation on his comments on any of these issues facing the redevelopment agency. I think he has a valuable perspective, and I think it's incumbent on him to weigh in on all these issues, as he does, and I will continue to place the utmost of my attention and my consideration for his remarks. Thank you.
Okay. As I don't see any other comments, do we have any new business?
Your motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Very good. We have a joint meeting.
Yes, a joint meeting of the Glendale City Council and Redevelopment.